The United States is celebrating its 250th Independence Day tomorrow, but U.S. President Donald Trump faces growing criticism over the focus and political tone of the festivities. Federal authorities are preparing for major crowds in Washington with events across the National Mall, and Trump is using it to put his stamp on the celebration, throwing federal agencies and funding behind his lavish vision. All that as Trump faces wider pressure over issues like rising gas prices and Republican unease ahead of the midterms. The CBC's Sasha Petrusik is tracking this for us from Washington and has more on the controversial celebrations.
Well, the celebrations have been going on all week. U.S. President Donald Trump is in South Dakota today for a fireworks show at Mount Rushmore. And of course, the big event will happen tomorrow here in D.C. Now, up until now, if you walk around D.C., there hasn't been a great deal of excitement. There are some buses that have been rolling in today, but we'll see whether that actually brings things up to the levels that have been predicted and anticipated. These events have been long planned since even before Donald Trump was reelected, including a grand state fair here in D.C. that's been taking up much of the center of the city with booths from each state and anticipated crowds. Well, those crowds have not actually shown up, not at least in the numbers that people have been talking about. The White House is calling these celebrations a renewal of patriotism and national pride brought to you by Donald Trump. But so far, it hasn't really lived up to that hype. And there have been lots of accusations that it's become too political and polarizing instead of being the unifying event that it was meant to be or that it could be. Most of the big names invited to perform at a gala have refused. A speech that Donald Trump gave last week drew a very small audience, and this state fair has had a disappointing turnout. The heat, of course, hasn't helped any of this. Politically, there's also been controversy. The group organizing all of this across the country is called Freedom 250. It's a private charity with connections to Donald Trump and his backers, but all of that is very fuzzy, very foggy, and the Democrats are accusing Trump and the Republicans of using public money to basically profit Trump's backers and his political connections and to promote MAGA ideology. It's also been promoting Christian white values across the country with traveling exhibits at schools that suggest that the American story didn't really start with a revolution, but something more biblical. All of this has been funded by government money, and that is part of the controversy as far as the Democrats are concerned. So all of this is expected to climax tomorrow with a full-day celebration, hourly flyovers over the city, fireworks, ones that are twice as big as usual, and a speech from Donald Trump himself, who is the star attraction. And he said that he's going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Washington.